Oh, so now we're acting. You said it was a walkthrough. Now they're doing something.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another Walkthrough Wednesday episode. I know you guys probably missed us last week. We had Labor Day, a lot of guys were off, and just a lot of stuff going on in the shop, so took a week off, but we're back, like we said. Here, got a great episode for you. Got some motors to look at, some new projects, and some project updates, and stay tuned because at the end of this video, we've got a special guest appearance by somebody with the last name of Petty that isn't Richard. So, be taking guesses who that might be, and we'll show you here in a little bit. Starting off this week, right next to our recently completed 426 Hemi for the Challenger you see above me. This is kind of an interesting one because it's got this old school set of valve covers that actually have 426 Hemi engraved in it. Our customer had these before we started the build, so we built his motor and now it's got those on there. And then you can see we've got our Petty's Garage by Cook's. Keep the Cook's there. Cook's long tube headers that are available directly on our site, pettysgarage.com. So I'll put the link below in the description so you guys can see where to get those. Move over here. You've seen a lot of the modern S550 Mustangs that we work on and do a ton of those, but it's been a little bit different. We've got an 03 Cobra Terminator car. This is a really rare piece because it's actually a factory supercharged car. So really neat, but factory supercharged car might have been really awesome in 03. That's 15 years ago. Owner's ready to upgrade to something a little bit more modern with more power. So we've taken the factory supercharger off. We've got a Whipple going in here. This is a polished, really shiny, cool looking Whipple. We've got it all taped up so that it stays protected while we're fitting it up and making sure the hood clearances and everything. So got that in the works. Of course, got our nice Petty's Garage fender covers, keeping this beautiful Cobra safe and unscratched while we're working on it. Over this way. We've got our first 19 Ram 1500 here in the shop. Not exactly sure what our plans are for it. We're kind of going to see what these new Rams are all about and what we can do. So stay tuned for that. We've got some work ahead of us, but nice to get it in the shop. Really pretty truck. As you can see around me, we've got cars everywhere. It's kind of a packed house because we have the beginnings of Florence outside. So we're hurricane prepping right now. I got everything inside to where it's safe. And here at Ben's Lift, we got a brand new Mustang right off the lot, 2018 GT. We do a ton of these as our OEM production cars, but every now and then we get just an aftermarket job. So the gentleman bought the car, sent it straight to us. He's getting a Whipple supercharger put in. It's over here on the table. See that? So on today's episode, we've got two Mustangs, two Whipples, 15 years apart. It's pretty cool.
What are you working on, Ben?
Got this brand new Mustang.
Oh, it looks like you're putting some nice headers in there.
Check it out.
Upgraded header here on the right side. You can see nice long tubes.
And this is still got the stock manifold on the left side, so you can see the comparison.
Versus
pretty
the
cool.
stock manifold.
Definitely a big upgrade. All right, we'll get out of Ben's way here. Head over to see Brian. Come on, Brian.
B-Body Brian is his nickname, for anyone who doesn't know. He work on B-Bodies all the time, but very talented guy. Can work on absolutely anything. What are you installing here today, Brian?
We're finishing off the front drive system, trying to get the radiator mocked up. Just trying to finish buttoning this thing up so we can go home.
Got like all polished accessories in there.
So looks like a March front drive system.
That would be correct.
With a added vintage air condition. So all aluminum motor sitting here at 429. Should be plenty of power to move this unlock one all around the road. Mister, what are you working on?
Lining up the fenders, trying to get the lines as good as we can. Some of the old cars don't line up too good, but we make them line up better.
Cool deal. Working on all the body lines for a 67 Mustang. Of course, fastback that we painted ruby red. and just beginning the full assembly process here. You see no interior, no suspension, no drivetrain, but that'll be something we'll give you a lot of progress on as we come forward.
Compliments of BASF and Greg Duncan, master painter in the body shop.
Cool.
Check out the GTO Chris has been working on too. He's got a couple projects going here. Keeping you guys up to date, but I don't think they've seen it with the front end on here, Will.
Oh, you're correct.
Yeah, so it's starting to look like a full car here. Chris has got the whole front end mocked up, the hood, lower valence and everything. All of the headlights are in, the grill's in, still missing some bezels here and there, but a lot of progress on the front end of the GTO project.
So from the factory, this GTO would have had an Enduro front bumper. And this is actually a custom piece that we got made out of fiberglass.
Because the customer didn't want the Enduro one.
Enduros tend to crack. It was great technology back in 1970, but we've came a long ways since then. So the customer, for all you purists, did keep the Enduro front bumper hanging on his
hanging on his
garage.
wall, right?
Yeah, correct. But put a nice fiberglass piece on that we actually
We
mocked
had to-
up to fit.
We had to bodywork that in here because when we pulled it up here, you probably had a good 1/8 of an inch gap from where the fiberglass reproduction piece didn't match the front fender, which happens a lot with those aftermarket fiberglass parts. So body shop did an excellent job of working that and getting it all to match up. I love this lower front splitter they've had stock. It's a nice looking front end. So before he started over there on the front accessory drive on the Mustang, Brian made some new brackets for the hood pins on our 72 race car project. So if you see right here, this is where the hood pin was located when the car got back to us, that hole. And we've mounted these up because we actually have a 72 Charger, 73 Charger that Richard raced here to go off of. So when we checked out of that car, I actually had brackets mounted for the hood pins all the way up here. I don't really know if there's much advantage in having them here versus there, but that's how they did it back in the day. So we're taking the car back to its petty enterprise's glory. So this is the little stuff that's important when you're having us restore a race car versus just anybody else trying to do it.
What are you doing?
Changing the filters in the home.
That looks like a dirty job.
It is.
Oh.
That's where I come in at. Yeah.
So Fred, explain to us what the Hone does and why you got to change filters from time to time.
It fits you're honing the cylinders in the block for piston clearance. And periodically that metal that comes out goes through the filtering system and starts losing volume, pressure going up, the whole 9 yards, so you gotta change filters. So
Makes sense.
yeah, these things weigh probably about 10 times what they normally weigh because it's full metal.
Right.
Yeah, so it's a dirty job, somebody's gotta do it.
Good deal, good deal.
So in this edition of Putting Whipples on Mustangs, that seems to be the theme for today's episode. We've got the third one we're going to talk about. You know, we always like to stop by and see what Mitch is doing.
Oh yeah.
So looks like you're almost there.
We're close. Doing the final fan install, wiring harness and all on 800 horse Whipple here.
Just pop the front nose back on.
Put the nose back and run a little bit of wiring. Put the nose back on, plug some lights back in. Put some water in it. We'll be ready to go. Pound
Nice.
ground.
800 horsepower.
800 horse.
That's what I'm talking about. Looking good. All right, let's see. Got another Mustang here. See, we've got our Petty's Garage Mustang front strut brace. I'll drop a link for that below as well. Custom painted King Edition. So now we've interrupted their quality inspection. Oh, here we go. Check this out. Finished up the stripe package on our B5 PG2 Challenger. That looks really nice. Of course, we also color matched all the cladding around the bottom. And then you got our MagnaFlow exhaust tips coming out there, so the whole package comes together really nice. Looks awesome. So, it
Oh,
takes
so now we're acting. You said it was a walkthrough. Now they're doing something.
Okay. So tell me real quick, 30-second pitch. Backstory on both of these cars.
No idea what this one is.
Okay.
It looks like a Dodge. It is a Dodge Charger. That's a Dodge Charger that I drove one year. According to that, 2007, 2008 for Marathon. That's what that one is. This is a Wood Brothers car. I know exactly what this one is. This came from when I drove it for them. I drove the number 7 car.
7-Eleven car, right?
Number 7, 7-Eleven, yes, for 1 year. And then it went to Citgo, but it was and then went to 21, which is cool because I got to drive the 21 car. Says right here, this is a car that I drove to victory in the World 600. And I beat one of those 43 cars that day. I will say that.
Right there.
So that's what that is. There's the trophy from it. Interesting story. Interesting little story. Ran the Coca-Cola 600. Won the race. Had, I think Adam and Austin were with me. And that trophy in a Ford pickup, headed home, ran out of fuel in Salisbury, North Carolina. Was walking down the side of the road, and the Wood Brothers, Eddie and Lynn, picked me up, took me to a gas station, got me some gas, went home. End of the conversation. Hard to believe. I had a check for a pretty fair amount of money. That trophy right there, and no gas. So
Wow.
that was it. That's my Coca-Cola World 600 story.
Well, that's awesome. I was gonna ask you, what's one story about this place here that viewers at home might not know?
Well, I don't. You know, it's hard. This building is where Pete raced out of, and my dad raced out of. Pete Hamilton, my dad, Baker raced out of here.
Mhm.
Machine shop used to sit right there. This was the fab area. You know, where we are standing right now, in this corner of the room, I'm telling you, there was a huge table, and this is where like all the spoilers, all the seats, that my dad drove in, the front spoilers, all that stuff, everything was made right here. That door wasn't there then. So all that stuff was made right here, and all the race cars were there. We only had there are more race cars in this museum than there were when my dad raced out of here in the 70s. 70s? Yeah, we only had a couple cars. He had 2 cars, and I had one that was one of his old cars. Now there's all kinds of stuff in here. So that's all I know about this place.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lose my job now. He's
Yeah.
gonna take these over. So
Pretty good.
Perfect.
Hey, so thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week. I won't be here.